So uh, I've seen this speech before, and I wanted to react to it because it doesn't have a whole lot of views, and there's not many people who have talked about it. I mean, there's leftists like Hassan Abi who's talked about it, Hassan, but beyond that, there's like not a whole lot like recognition for this, which is a shame because it's like a really good speech that if you don't really understand like why people hate U.S. wars and like why other countries hate what we're doing over there and like our and the wars we've started and why and like because America would make you seem like we're like doing good things. We're like we're there to like help people, which in reality isn't true. And this is like if you don't really kind of understand what's going on there, this is like a good like speech that sums it up.
Susan Brothers, thanks everyone for being here.
It's kind of quiet.
We're from the organization March Forward. We are here to say to all those
See if I can boost this because it's quiet.
serving in the Army, and the Marines, and the Air Force, and the Navy, that you have the absolute right to refuse to take part in these criminal wars, and that's a right that all of you should exercise. You have no reason to go put your life on the line and kill and die for profit. We've been to Iraq, we've been to Afghanistan, and we know what these wars are really about. And we joined the military for many reasons. Because we need a college education, because we need a job, because we need health care. And then we joined the military, and they tell us that our enemies are...
So, as kind of like a thing, something a lot of people bring up is that, if you join the military, right, then you can go, once you get out, you can, get free college and healthcare and stuff, right? And it's kind of like sad that in our country that you have to join up with the military to like get like basic like healthcare and education, right? You can, that's like the only way. Well, it's not the only way, but for a lot of people who are not very privileged and didn't do that great in high school and they didn't grow up in a great household, so they didn't do great in high school and don't have money to go to, didn't get any scholarships, don't have money to go to college. A lot of them, end up joining the military just to like survive, right? And it's kind of sad that you have to like join the military and then be forced to kill people because once you're in, like you can't disobey orders, right? That's illegal. Disobey orders once you're in the military, right? So it's like, but it's sometimes it's either that or be homeless. So what kind of choice is that?
poor people in caves in Afghanistan, or poor people in desert area. And they tell us that our enemies are poor people in caves in Afghanistan, or poor people in deserts of Iraq. But we've been to those countries, and we know that our enemies are not other poor people abroad. Our enemies are the people that laid us off from our jobs, that denied us health care, that make it impossible to get an education.
So like that's the thing about a lot of our wars is that we end up, you know, mostly killing people who are just there, right? Not even so like even in Iraq and Afghanistan, if you could even argue that there was even bad people there to begin with, which is questionable because you know, at least for where the people who did 9/11 came from, uh, whether they were part of the organization in Afghanistan, or Iraq, is questionable. But even if they did, we kill more innocent people than we kill like bad people.
Enemies are not in the poorest countries on the planet, but right here in the richest one. The occupations of Iraq and Afghanistan alone are costing over $700 million every single day. This is a crime. every single day while so many of us are hurting. Well, I think all of us here and the vast majority of people.
And that's the thing, right? It's like, he says that so many of us are hurting. It's like we don't care. We're saying a lot of times we're over there to like help the people in the country, right? To free them from terrorists and stuff like that, which we know oftentimes it's, you know, the Middle East wars were often more about oil, stuff like that, rather than than actually helping people, you know. And it's the same. It's been the same for many wars, not all of them, but many, right? And so we say we're over there to help people, but we don't even help our own citizens, right? We won't even provide our own citizens with guaranteed health care or guaranteed, shelter or guaranteed like basic food or whatever. We won't guarantee that to our own citizens. Yet we're over there saying, "Hey, we're here to help these people." But I mean, how can we say we're going to help people when we don't even help the poor people in our nation, right? It doesn't make any sense.
People in this country would agree that we can spend $700 million a day better than bombing people that we have no reason to bomb. We can spend $700 million a day rebuilding those countries we've destroyed. We can spend $700 million a day caring for the veterans we get home when they get home, and then we can spend $700 million a day giving every single person health care, a college education, a job, and a livelihood, and a home. That's who we need to be spending our money on. But this government is not going to do that. They're not going to use the money in that way. They're not going to end the wars. And they're not going to do it because it's not our government. It's their government. It's the government of the rich. It's the government of Wall Street, of the oil giants, of the defense contractors. It's their government, and the only language that they
And
understand
and the
is
defense contract is also a big thing, is because there's a lot of people who make money off of weapons development, stuff like that, and having wars to spend these weapons on and develop weapons for is a big like as people lobby for that, people who can get rich off of that, and there's also like a big like contributing factor into some of these going into some of these wars.
contractors. It's their government, and the only language that they understand is shutting down business as usual. And that's what we're doing here today, and we're going to continue to do until these wars are over. It's crystal clear now that these wars are going to continue and expand and go into other countries. That is the trend. That is what we know, that there is perpetual war, and it's only going to stop if the people stand up and stop it. And that's what we're going to do, sisters and brothers. A lot of people ask me, what do we do? Because we all know things are bad. We all see the atrocities on TV. We read about it. We experience it. People always ask, what do I do? Because we always want to know what to do. Do we vote? Do we support a politician? Do we join an organization? What do we do? Well, I'll tell you what we do. It's simple. We fight. We fight and we fight and we fight, and we shut down our workplaces. We shut down our schools. We shut down the streets. We shut down business as usual, and we fight until we.
If enough people did care about this kind of stuff, right? Then it's really not that hard to like, you know, stop, something that's ongoing, right? The problem is, the way this works is a lot of Americans have been convinced or just plain in general that they just support these kind of wars, right? Or they support capitalism, they support for-profit wars, for-profit, to make the rich richer, even if it doesn't help them. A lot of these voters have been convinced that somehow it helps them, right? Through nationalism, oh, we're gonna kill these terrorists or these people who have weapons of mass destruction, which don't actually exist. The whole reason we made it for 9/11 was, oh, these people have weapons of mass destruction, which we know was a lie. They didn't have weapons of mass destruction, and when they just made it up. So obviously, uh, and the real reason we went to, Iraq and Afghanistan, especially Iraq, it was not because of weapons of mass destruction. They didn't have it. They want it was for monetary purposes, largely, right? It wasn't for humanitarian reasons. If there was no profit in invading, like, no, like profit for someone and invading Iraq, it wouldn't have happened, right? We wouldn't have taken down Saddam Hussein. We would have just not gone in there because it was all about the money. And to me, it's like mind-boggling. People don't get mad, so don't get mad to this day about the whole George Bush era, where they're literally plenty of evidence that they just lied about the whole thing to get us into a war. So it's insane.
Force the people in there to do what the people out here want. Because that's how we're going to get around, and we're going to fight until there's not one more bomb drop, not one more bullet fired.
Yeah, like I said, it wouldn't be that hard for if the majority of the country cared about stuff to change it. But the problem is, they pit the population of a country against each other. So that's why there's never like a majority to push or fight for something, you know? So it's hard to make change when 50% of the population or close to that, supports these kind of capitalistic ventures, right? So if 75% of the country did want to stop it, then it would be very easy to just like get people together to form up and just make it stop instantly. But it's very hard to get people to unite in that way. Is the problem?
Not one more soldier coming home in a wheelchair. Not one more family slaughtered. Not one more day of U.S. imperialism. Let's fight to make that happen. We can do it today, and in the days ahead, we have to fight to end these wars and create a better world system, brothers.
It's just so sad that like a lot of these wars are not fight. uh, A lot of the American wars are not. The U.S. wars are not to help people, and we're sending people off to fight for profit reasons, and then we're just killing a lot of people there, and then we're harming our own people by spending money which could be spent on other things, but we're just maiming our own soldiers for what? We're maiming our own soldiers for money. And that's just like it's just like really sad when you think about it. Just like how can you not the people who start these wars, like how can they be like so cold and they're just like, eh, okay, a few thousand people got injured, lost their limbs over there, over here. Ah, we don't care. They're not rich. Like, like the lack of empathy is just like amazing to me. Like, I don't even know what that would be like. And there must be a fair number of people who don't have empathy because people can look at this and just like not care somehow. You know, it just amazes me. But
More families.
comments and equal comments. No one calling him a dirty commie chat. There's still hope for the U.S. Amazes me it doesn't have a few million views at the very least, which is why I wanted to make a video because it's a great speech, but for some reason it's just not a lot of recognition on it. I don't know why. Comrades. If only like patriotism wasn't seen. If only patriotism was like seen as like helping your citizens. Instead, patriotism in the United States has somehow become, I don't know, guns and the wars, but not helping our own citizens. It's so odd that that has become patriot. That's what patriotism has become, and people don't like. Not more people like second guess like, how does this make sense that this is what patriotism is? Like, yeah, it's so weird. It's like it's like everyone's like in a hypnosis. Alright, there's not, like, any, like, super funny comments or anything. This is the Matrix, it will never end. And it might never end, but we're gonna try. They still show the dislikes? Nope, no dislikes anymore. No dislikes on YouTube. Ask for jobs, education. The solution for each problem is shut everything, jobs and schools. That's not exactly what he was saying. I mean, you don't shut everything down forever. And what does jobs have to do with education? He didn't. I don't think he asked for jobs in the video. But yes, you have to shut down things that are running as usual to get things to change. It's kind of so. Okay, this statement says, "Ask for jobs and education. The solution for this problem is everything jobs and schools." Like this guy is saying that doesn't make any sense. But what to make this statement make sense would be like what's actually happening is in the speech asks for better jobs and education for all, and the solution to the problem is to shut current jobs and current schools down. That would be more accurate. He's saying this guy's saying doesn't make any sense, but it does because you're asking for better jobs. Well, the video didn't even cover jobs that much, so get rid of the jobs by asking for better education for all, not just education for some. Currently, some people have to join the military and do other things. It's not education for all currently, right? Or it could be a lot better. He's asking for a lot better education, and more funding for education for all. And yes, you might have to shut down the way things currently are temporarily. It's not like this guy acts like, you know, it's forever, but that's not the case. You shut down things temporarily to rebuild it so then they're better education. That's kind of how it works. You have to stop something, stop the way things are going to then reboot something and then make it better. Hi, Azan chat. Any Hassan viewers? All right, guys. I think that's good enough. That's it for me. Thanks.